think chat is off for whatever reason. Yes. So this, would you keep this? This seems like a no, right? That makes sense. Okay, so one second, let me figure out how to, okay. I have to change my screen on the other, let me mute that so I don't get an echo. I think here we probably toss back the mine. Actually, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, for I'll play it however you think I should be playing it. I'll put it at that. Mm-hmm. They're usually, yeah, like it's some kind of chess guy Delver or something. Gotcha. And then you probably, would you lead with the mine and pass? So would you needle blank? Go ahead. Uh, mm-hmm. That makes sense. Oh, the orbital. Sure, sure, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, there's, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we lose this, it's on me. I misplayed on the Urborg there. Oh, uh-huh. Okay, so I just realized my the chat can't hear you. So let me see what I can do about that. It's going into my headphones is what I'm realizing. I guess I can put you on speaker, but I'll have to do that after this round, I think, because I have to grab the speaker and then I'll put it on what's it called, so everybody can hear. I guess what you're saying. So this, you're actually the first guest I've ever had, so it's possible that I just haven't set it up correctly too. So I think here we play the depths, right? Okay, so I think what I can do is let me show you my OBS here. Having a speaker would just create an echo. Yeah, that's a good point, Eli. So that's fine. Where is my speaker? So you're talking about the desktop audio?
Well, now I can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me at all?
Right there, I couldn't know you were muted.
Oh, okay. I wonder if people... Chat, can we hear Tom now? It sounds like we can.
Oh. You got it. You got the... you troubleshot it then.
All right, thanks. That makes sense. So I think people can hear Tom now, so that's great. I think I just had it on mute before because of whatever I had in the background in the past. So I think anybody who's tuning in right now is probably surprised because I haven't streamed in a month, just because I didn't want to reveal. Well, I guess two things: reveal my modern deck and reveal how sloppy my preparation was. My drafts did not go too well, actually. But the good thing about having a God account is I can just drop at any time and just essentially start all over, right? If things don't go well.
I mean, your preparation couldn't have been that bad. You performed very well.
I can only thank my coaches. All the people I listed in the... I think you played Urborg here, right?
Yeah.
And then pass.
Yep.
I have to thank my coaches. They somehow got me the 2-1 in Zendikar draft, and I don't even think I thought that was possible. Given that, I think everybody had a good laugh that I had only 33 matches of limited ever before, which is kind of insane.
I got a good kick out of the 33 limited matches.
No, I thought it was funny too when I saw the spreadsheet. But yeah, I'm glad everybody got a kick out of that, including all the people who were casting like Cedric and Jarvis. You're an Eagles fan, right?
Unfortunately.
What is going on over there?
Most of their offensive line's hurt, and
Gotcha.
Organizational ineptitude on top of that.
Gotcha.
What in the world is going on?
Yeah, I typically don't know what they are up to because of how crazy their decks tend to be. I think we still go for it here, right?
I mean, we have to go like all in, all in. They have a wasteland. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Cancel.
Okay. We're gonna get completely. So we have to get our own wasteland to play through their. Well, I guess it's needled. So we just if we go for it, we just lose to a counter spell. I guess is really what it comes down to.
Okay, would you wait here? Then?
Yeah, they also brainstormed and then decided to pitch a fetch land to the Mox Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
So we get blown out by a bunch of different things. Any plow plus counter blows us out. Any removal spell, I don't know if you would run something like a main deck upgrade blows us out, but the thing I'm most worried about is the brainstorm. Since you pitched the fetch land, could have easily held a terminus on top.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we could cantrip right into the terminus.
There's no reason not to play the mine here, right?
Oh, we definitely play the mine, so we have double crop rotation up for next turn. So now we have a counter spell bead. So that's good.
Mm-hmm. So when you say we have a counter spell beat, could you elaborate for a novice?
So basically, the outs that Tony has, as far as spells go that don't attack the needle, are Swords to Plowshares and Terminus. So if he goes for a Swords to Plowshares last turn, we would have to tap our Stage Depths Urborg to make it 20/20, and all we would have is the last mine. So if he Swords to Plowshares, we would crop rotation, trying to get Sajiri Step to counter the swords, and a counter would be the crop rotation. So now we have double crop rotation.
To beat that, right. Makes sense.
All right, well, now that's not the case.
So do we respond to that?
No. There's really nothing we can do in this spot. So what we're going to try to do is just go for it, and if he has the Swords to Plowshares, we just try to go for it again the following turn.
Makes sense.
The Teferi just shuts off all of our ability to interact with what he has going on, unfortunately.
Right. Luckily, the decks I play avoid any interaction with Teferi.
Yeah, Tony's deck is kind of miserable because it's a 4 wasteland deck, it's a 4 plow deck. He runs some number of copies of Terminus and then things like this and counter spells on top of it. So
Hmm.
it's kind of it's almost along the same lines as Esper in difficult matchups.
Is Esper Vial, I'm assuming it sounds like it's more difficult than, and it's the copy that we keep? It's been
Yes,
a
the one
while
with
since I
zero
did this.
counters.
It's the one on the left, right?
Yep.
Alright. I had made this mistake before, by the way, when I tried this at Elves.
You tried Dark Depths combo and Elves? That's
Uh, when I first tried Reclaimer, like so it was like a year or so ago.
okay.
When the deck first, especially when the card first came out.
Fair
All right, so
enough.
that's a good draw, right?
Yeah, I think we play the Depths because we have yet another Depths
That makes
behind that.
sense. So they're holding up the wasteland, which is interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting that they didn't tap that last turn.
Sure, now they might do it.
Ugh.
Mm, sure.
When's the last time you've been at 50 life, Newton?
It's been a minute. I don't remember. I've seen my opponents be at 50 life though. In modern, I've like been comboed out by Heliod. Actually, that's not
Nice.
true. I probably just conceded before then.
Yeah.
So we leave with C's here?
Um, yeah, I think so. It's gonna stop us from comboing this turn, but I think it's still worth it. We really need this needle to resolve.
Sure. I mean, these are my colors. Like, I love myself some black green. Like, it's funny too because I don't think I've mentioned it like outside of the people I was prepping the draft with, but I was actually trying to avoid green in the draft because I don't think the color is very good in Zendikar.
Nice.
Yeah.
So here I think we want to play the needle off of the gemstone mine with 1 counter, but make sure you use the black ability from Urborg, not the just normal tap.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. And then are we playing the depths or the stage here? Probably the stage because we lost 2 depths already, right?
Yeah, I don't know that it particularly matters, but because we're just gonna play the other one next turn. But yeah, either way,
So have you
that's at least.
found this? Go ahead.
Uh, Either way, it plays around days too because of the Urborg if we ended up having the crop rotation. But go
Mhm.
ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, have you found this mana base to be much improved because you get the blue spells for free now?
Yeah, there's actually more colored sources in the deck than black green is, if you can believe that.
Hmm.
But yeah, Tony's just seeing all the cards.
I know, right?
Um, yeah, so it's been pretty effective. Like I haven't lost games to Gemstone Mine. Like you can see, even though this game's getting extended and we have multiple Gemstone Mines,
Hmm.
they're perfectly functional in these scenarios.
Hmm.
And yeah, having all of the colors for nothing and playing around Submerge is nice.
Right, yeah, that's a huge benefit, I would imagine. So they shuffled. I don't know if that's a good sign, but that's kind of funny. So they're tapping out, which is kind of interesting.
All right, so
Or we just
guess
playing
we're
the depths
on
and going for it here?
Steps Go, yeah.
Yeah, I've only been on the other side of fair where it actually mattered a few times, and yeah, it is very. I can see the pain that blue players feel when all their permission is turned off. Yeah, I think because sometimes I'll forget, like if I play a new deck, like playing Miracles for instance, and I just let Teferi resolve and have instants in my hand and just not do anything responsive because I spaced out.
Now I think we wait because they have the plow sitting on top of their library that they're going to cantrip into.
Yeah. So what does our route to victory look like from here?
So there was two ways to do it. Ideally, we would resolve a Hex Mage and just kill the Teferi and then have double Grab Rod protection. But from here, we can play the Reclaimer, and they're probably going to either kill it or
Force it, right?
force it, or Teferi bounce it next turn. But then we can
Right.
replay it again the following turn. So we're kind of playing that game at the moment.
So it sounds like you played against Tony a few times already, and this is a difficult matchup.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, I've stolen some, but that's kind of what it feels like. It's like
Gotcha.
stealing, so. Yeah, there's just so many different pieces. Basically, like the best pieces of Miracles against you, plus the best pieces of Delver against you, all in the same deck. So,
Yeah, it's pretty much free. Okay, so I'm getting a complaint from chat about these sound effects. Maybe I should turn that down. Maybe bring up my settings.
I can't hear them on my end, but yes, I would agree that chat is the noises are
Which one
kind
is
of
it here?
unbearable. I think you can turn all of them off, really.
Alright, let's do that.
Hold on a second.
Is that better, chat? Frantic inventory. That's interesting. Alright, I'm just dead, I think.
Well, that was a first. I don't think I've ever died that way before.
So, do you guys know off the top? I think I probably want the alerts. Actually, for now, I think it's fine since everybody's watching, anyways. How would you board?
So his deck is really strange. So it's kind of hard. Like you can't take out the Needles of the Stifles because it's a wasteland deck, and you can't really like cut the Knot of this Worlds because it's a plow deck,
Right.
and you really want a ton of different cards because of so much that's going on. So kind of it's like
Yeah, the hate
hedging
is very
all.
diversified.
Yeah,
Do
and
we
there's
care
Mystic
about?
Sanctuary. So we really don't. Yeah, it's kind of hard. Like the safekeepers that are normally great against the Swords to Plowshares decks, just kind of walk into getting like double blown out by Terminus. So a lot of the stuff's just not great. So I would probably just shave around the edges. Probably like 2 Spirit Guides.
That makes sense because this matchup is not about speed.
Yeah, so a couple of Spirit Guides. I think the Reclaimers are actually probably really bad because he has a bunch of just disruption in general or removal, and they're bad against Terminus too. So from here, I probably bring in a couple of
Safekeeper?
Fluster Storms,
Interesting.
maybe a couple of Fluster Storms and a Safekeeper. Yeah, I don't think there's enough graveyard stuff to really be on the surgical plan.
That makes sense.
You know,
I don't think we cut any of the tutors, right?
no. So
I think. Do we shave on Not of This World or
yeah,
Petal?
we could probably cut one and say the safekeeper is kind of like in the same spot, and our additional anti-removal stuff as the flusterstorms.
That makes sense.
It's kind of rough because the Not of This World stinks against Teferi too.
yeah. The fair
So
seems real good against us.
yeah, so it's kind of like the disruption just overlaps in ways that are really tough to deal with.
So I think I would probably keep and lead with Duress.
Yeah, I think it's Urborg Duress, and
Right.
then we try and tutor into the combo and hopefully set up a protected combo turn.
What's up, Francisco? How's it going, man? So I want to give Francisco a quick shout out. He actually was one of the people who helped me with the modern deck. And Tom and I talked about this a little bit before the stream started. But shout out to Francisco for his insight. I definitely used some of his suggestions, like cutting tireless tracker and running the. I know Cedric made a big deal about it, but the Tango Florahedron. So here, I think we. Do you take the force or do you take a brainstorm?
Uh, I think it's actually the force because we really want to play our tutors
On.
underneath Flusterstorm protection.
Mhm.
So we kind of want to resolve scrying next turn.
Mhm.
And the only way we can really do that is if the force is gone. So if we can set up a onboard combo before they get to 3 mana,
Mhm.
we should be able to ignore Teferi. But if their brainstorm hits a few lands, that's going to be an issue.
That makes sense. Yeah, Francisco actually answered his Florahedron question on Twitter because it came up, and then that definitely was a huge upgrade over the Mammoth for sure, which was what Francisco helped me with. So I think here we probably go with the mine and then scrying, tapping. Actually, yeah. Would you? Because life
I
doesn't
would,
matter, right?
yeah, I don't think the life matters. I like the just not theoretically putting ourselves into a position where the mine counters are in it.
Okay,
It's
so
probably
you
not going to be an issue because of Urborg, but I still don't think the damage is going to matter.
gotcha. And what is typically the first land you search for? Is it
It's almost always depths
depths?
because
Okay.
Hexmage off the top. Hexmage off the top would allow us to play Hexmage with Fluster backup.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with any accelerant. If we draw a Lotus Petal or a Spirit Guide, we can crop rot for the stage and have Fluster up. And that's one thing we basically have to do on our turn 3 is, assuming we dodge the running land drops here for a Teferi, which it looks like we did, we have to be threatening the kill, so
Right.
he can't just tap out for Teferi.
All right. So
Pretty good draw. So I think it's Depths go, and if they don't draw a force, they have to respect the crop rotation kill, and then we
Right.
can wait until next turn and have crop rotation plus Not of This World plus Flusterstorm. So I think that's the line.
okay. So if I'm understanding it correctly, I think we crop rot off the confluence, and then we generate the merit lage on their end step, right?
If they give us a window this turn, if they pass with untapped mana here, which they
They-
might, then
Right,
we
right,
can
right.
just wait. Then we can just wait a turn so that we have Flusterstorm to protect the crop rotation.
That makes sense. As
Because
you
it's
can
also
tell,
possible. It's also possible with the brainstorm that they set up a turn because we know they had double brainstorm from the discard spell. It's unfortunate. So they could have easily set up a brainstorm into brainstorm terminus too. So, but the wasteland kind of puts all of these plans in the on hold anyway.
right? Because it's another thing we have to play around. I think we just pass here, right? Into our turn.
Yep.
I think here
Pretty good.
we just play the stage. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then pass probably.
Mhm.
Yeah, I only know this matchup really from the elf side being on the other side of the table. And typically speaking, I think we mentioned this on the last time I streamed, which actually was with you, but I feel pretty even in this matchup, especially if they're on the slower version. But against Tom, that's a very difficult matchup.
Yeah, I think Turbo is significantly better against elves than Slow Depths is.
Yeah, because you give them a window to catch up essentially or interact, especially against my version where the Caracas can matter.
Exactly. Yeah, in your month absence, your version has
Nobody's
it's
been
taken
playing
a it's
it.
taken a step back. Yeah, it's almost all
It's
Battle
all
Sentinel.
for sure, for sure. I think we just passed here too, right? Given that they had the waistline up.
Yeah, we wait until we have the fluster again.
Right, right. Same thing.
Yep. So
So here, I think we still lead with the. Do we lead with the mine here because
yeah, I
it's
think it's a mine here because we're likely going to the likely line if they give us a window is to crop rotation for wasteland. So the
Mhm.
mine's the better land to crop rotate away in this matchup.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So I know we made a joke about it. I posted it in a few places, but the new tech that's from Modern, and this is more just when I first was looking into the format, what to play, but I saw Amulet Titan on MTG Goldfish. Okay, so I think we respond
Uh,
here, right?
yeah, we definitely crop rotate in this here.
Uh, yeah, I noticed that Amulet Titan was getting their bounce lands back and replaying it for 2 mana a turn. And I thought, wait, why am I not doing that with Cradle with a bounce land? So I think in future leagues you will, and I know some people have already maybe seen one of my colleagues play the. I think
Oh no, no, we fluster this.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna do that.
It looked like you're about to click OK.
No, I've definitely done that in the past too, but there I luckily I knew enough to do that. But what was I gonna say? Setting targets. Yeah, so that's how I got the idea. I think I'm gonna start running a Go Gary Rot farm in Legacy. Turns out Cradle's a very strong card, so if you can do it twice, it's pretty good.
Makes sense.
And then we're gonna get a Wasteland, their Wasteland, right?
We get the wasteland, but we have to actually wait because the Teferi can bounce the 2020. So we have to
Sure,
let
on
this
their
go
end
in.
step.
Yeah, and if they decide to main phase wasteland us, we just have to let it happen. Hopefully, if they do that, they'll go after the depths, which will allow us to just let that happen, untap, play the second depths, wasteland their tap wasteland to get through the two wastelands, and then
Sure, I got you.
try to
Because they still have the
try to
bounce
win
from
that way.
Teferi to play around it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to because they've already played a land this turn. So unless they have another land for the Mox Diamond, which they probably,
Yeah, they played a Wasteland for this turn.
yeah, they probably brainstormed the Mox Diamond back anyway the first time. But oh wow,
Interesting.
uh,
Oh, that's
don't,
okay, right?
yeah, I'm not really sure.
Maybe
Unless
they
they
don't see the line. That's funny,
either,
Francisco.
they either didn't see it or
My guess is they didn't see it because it's not a very intuitive line.
okay. So now we wasteland the wasteland. We should be good to go, barring some kind of free spell that I'm not thinking of.
Right. I don't think there's a free spell. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't think they saw the line. Does play draw typically affect anything for you or no?
Not here. And a lot of these like slow, like his deck being a hybrid's like such a problem. Like normally against like a Miracle Shell, I'll board out even more acceleration and just play long with them with safekeepers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't really do that against his deck because Teferi shuts off so much of our interaction. So we kind of need to be threatening the combo kill early.
That makes sense.
And he's got the Terminus to deal with the Safekeepers. So I think we just run this back as is.
Sounds good.
Is
Hey,
that
Max, how's
Max
it going?
version of Min-Max fame?
Max, put me in the right position to well, put me with the right people to for draft, specifically Jarvis, and added me to a group of limited players. So I picked up a lot from that. I think we can't keep this, right?
Yeah, I mean, this hand is like explosive. And if we top deck, if we top decked exactly depths over the first 2 turns, or even stage over the first few turns, we'd probably win. But I don't think you can really keep hands on hope like that. This hand is also not particularly great.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
But
we only have.
so this is the kind of hand that in a bad matchup, I'm almost inclined to try. So
Just
what
because
we
you have
could do
time.
here, yeah, just because we're on the draw and we're also in a spot where they're probably going to, it's probably going to be hard to win on 5 here. So if we bottom this step here,
That makes sense.
this hand actually, I mean, they're going to have to tap down or just not have a force effect, but this is technically a turn 2, not a this world protection. So I think it's just one of those hands that we're going to play the mine, play the pedal, and then play the depths, and then at the end of their second turn, just go for it.
and hope they
Go
just
for
kept the
it,
swords, right?
and hope they kept either just the swords or they tapped down on their third turn for a Teferi in the face of only a couple of cards.
Hmm.
There's just so much interaction on their side in this matchup. I don't see us winning with 5. Well, that was really good because now we can
We just go to Inquisition turn one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty clutch top deck there, but you gotta get lucky to win.
So
I don't think we.
what does the frantic inventory actually do again?
I believe it's accumulated knowledge, the new version of it that doesn't check all graveyards.
Okay, so I think that's what we take here. We want to incentivize them to play that Teferi on 3. So
Sure.
we're the mentor.
Not to mention it cuts the number of draws down.
Yep.
I don't think we care about mentor or surgical in this situation.
I don't think so either.
So
So,
we play the pedal and then play the depths, right?
and then just pass, yep.
Sorry if I'm playing slow. Like I said, this is my first time playing the deck.
Oh,
So I'm trying to learn
absolutely
on the
okay.
fly too, huh?
This is also not a great matchup to teach someone since it's so complex. Ideally, you'd want like a more straightforward matchup, but this one's a little on the odd side.
Right. No, I know what you mean. I know one of the struggles with me, and I guess that's luckily I had the account that I did was when I ran into a matchup that I didn't expect to see for my modern event. I would just concede the match because I didn't think it was good use of time given essentially I had to learn 2 formats at the same time.
Fair enough.
And luckily with that account, like I didn't have to feel bad about just instant concede right? Because you lose value otherwise.
Makes sense. So this is interesting. It looks like he's considering playing the Teferi versus holding something up. So, can you pop out their hand again real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, the reveal cards. Yeah. So they played the Strand. So we know 4 of their 5 cards. 'Cause they still have all of the rest of those. The Strand they played. So if they play the Teferi, they can't even have Force Blue Guard. They might play the Mentor though.
Sure.
Okay.
I think we just go for it here, right?
Yeah, and it has to be exactly Force of Will. I guess Daze also does it. But I don't think this deck has Daze. So we crop rotate off the mine for sure. They had the force.
That was a pretty good draw.
Okay, well, this still isn't the end of the world. The
Mm-hmm.
rest of their hand is just a terminus they can't do anything with, and a surgical that's not all that great here. So
Do we play the bog here or the confluence?
I think we play the bog just to.
So what was the logic for keeping bog in this matchup?
We saw Mystic Sanctuary.
Oh, that's true. Good point.
So Sanctuary can put a terminus on top, put a plowback on top.
Mhm.
I mean,
Everything
it's
that's
not,
relevant, right? All the removal spells.
Bog's not at its best here, but there's interactions that are enough. In a pinch, if he wastelanded our depths and then tried to surgical it, which can obviously come up because he has surgical in his hand, we could also bog ourselves. I mean, that's not where you want to be either, but
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Like, you gotta find a way.
exactly.
I'm kind of surprised I'm ahead on time given I thought for sure I would be playing slow given I'm learning the deck. Not what we wanted, but
No.
so what is the worst matchup you think? That, I mean, I'm not counting this because he's probably the only one on the deck, but is Esperval the worst matchup for this deck?
It's like Espervile and D&T.
Okay.
Espervile's kind of minor meta percentage too. So of the most played decks, D&T is the hardest.
Makes sense.
That also varies though too. A lot of people are on the 80 card list, which is a little bit easier than the 60 card list.
Yeah, because I mean that list is like more value oriented, I feel.
Yeah, just I mean, there's basically the same amount of Plow and Caracas effects because they increased the Caracas count and they increased the path count to make up for those. But the areas where it hurts are Flicker Wisp and Wasteland are just still 4-ofs. So you're
Oh,
diluting those.
is that list on 4 Caracas?
It is on 4 Caracas, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm on the other side where I'll play D&T any day of the week, being on elves. Yikes.
Unfortunate.
What are we stifling from them besides Wasteland? Do we care about anything else?
I'm assuming his list, it's white based. I'm assuming there's a Caracas in the 75 somewhere.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
You can also stifle their fetch lands early. I don't know that the mana is perfect in this kind of deck. Another big one that is currently in his hand is you can terminus the miracle or stifle the miracle trigger on terminus.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So there's some stuff that can come up, but Wasteland's the big one, obviously.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Stifle's one of those cards, every time it's played against me, it's either amazing or doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I board out the stifles against you. Or
Yeah,
against
I
those.
would believe it.
I'm not. I feel like generally Depths is just racing faster anyway, and I'm not holding it just to hit the Crater Hoof trigger or to try and like have a gotcha on a fetch land.
Right. That makes
That's
sense.
just not where I want to be in that matchup.
So that is almost good for us, I feel.
I mean, we're gonna need them to absolutely brick because that made their clock a lot faster. Like they're gonna need to draw land next turn and have nothing, or we're just gonna be dead on board.
We're at 15.
Oh well, no, I guess not. I guess the extra 10 gave us a full turn. So we just need to draw a stage or.
So we know their hand right now, right?
Yeah, stage should be good. Well, no, the Teferi, I think they pitched to the Force of Will. That should do it too if they don't have a A's or a counter spell.
It's getting staged, right?
Yep.
You put cards.
So
Go ahead.
So we can play around Wasteland, or we can play around sorcery speed effects like Teferi. for the choices. I personally think we should wait until their... I would go on their draw step just to make sure we're past like just a random terminus on top. um, but
So you're saying to make the Mirror Lage on their draw step to play around Wasteland?
yeah, so we would get completely blown out by another copy of Teferi, but I'm not sure how many copies of Teferi he actually runs, and he's through one.
I mean, it's aggressive to have too many in a Wasteland deck too, I feel.
Yeah,
I think we just go for it.
he definitely has 4 Wastelands, so we can beat Swords to Plowshares. We have double Knot of this world for Swords to Plowshares.
Mm-hmm. Gotta click on the right one. But yeah, on the draw step is pretty clutch. You have to play around the random terminus.
Okay, well, we got that covered. It's not of this world, the Urge. Nice.
I think we're gonna get there. Given, yeah, nice. Awesome. I'm
Very
officially
sweet win.
100% with this deck.
Drop now. It's not getting any better. You beat double Wasteland in game 2.
Yeah, I mean,
Teferi.
It's always nice to
Teferi, no problem.
It's always nice to beat a hard matchup.
Looks like a new fan, Adam. Say by your association with Depths, you've found one new person on Twitter.
Nice. I'm glad. I can what's it called, ride Tom's coattails.
Nah, it's just like I said, little kid luck. This deck it's running all sorts of cards that they think are terrible in Legacy, and it just brings luck with it. You run 5 color lands, and the luck comes.
It's okay. I've run some pretty bad cards while messing around. I know Max, if he's still online, joked. So when I was trying Westvale Abbey, Max joked he just wants Stifle to be he joked that I wanted Stifle to be the maximum blowout possible.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's the little things.
One cool thing about Westvale Abbey was one interaction. I guess Matt's.
Let me just tell you, Mats does not have a deck in his repertoire that's not a great matchup against Depths. So we're in for another brutal one.
I feel like this is a keep just because of Hex Mage and Scrying.
Yeah. So we can curve. We're on the play, so we just curve discard spell into Scrying into combo with Stifle up because Mats is almost 100% to be on a Wasteland deck. So I think that's what we're doing with our lives here.
You said, yeah, we're gonna curve Duress into Scrying, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, 100% a difficult matchup.
Jeez.
So I think
we
the
take the
main
map?
thing we wanted.
Or the
No, I don't think the map actually matters. Like all of the best cards that Mats has are all in his hand. So there's probably a Mazy that's somewhere, but he's not going to have the time to both deploy stuff and use that map. Yeah, we just want to slow him down enough that we can put this combo on the table, and hopefully he plays out a map and relies on the Caracas, and we can stifle the Caracas and be good to go.
Here, do we Scrying or run out the Hex Mage?
So I'm not 100% familiar with Matt's list, so there could be some argument for running out the Hex Mage in case a Glimmer Post comes down to the point where we would have to hit him twice.
Gotcha.
The issue with that is if we play the Hex Mage here,
Mm-hmm.
we have to scrying next turn off the 2 lands we have in play,
Mm-hmm.
which means our last untapped land would be Depths, which is not what we want. We want the untapped land next turn to be the blue source so we can have Stifle up
Mm-hmm.
with the combo. So I think we just have to scrying here and
Makes sense.
just hope to fade a Glimmer Post. Or at least if he has the Glimmer Post, we know about it and we can try and plan accordingly.
Mm-hmm. So here we play the Depths and the Hex Mage and keep Stifle up, right? Like you said?
Yep. So what I think now we want to do though
Uh-huh.
is we want to go off during Matt's upkeep. The reason we want to do that is because we don't want to do it on our turn because then he gets 2 cracks at Caracas. But we don't want to do it on. We don't want to let Mats get to his main phase either because he could drop a 3rd land or have a Mox Diamond in a land and you got a Wasteland and stage the Depths, which we don't want to allow. So here I think we just go for it, especially now that he got Wasteland.
That makes sense. Yeah, things I would not know if I didn't actually play this matchup. And I'm sure I would probably even forget.
Well, Mats is unique. Normal Green Post does not run Wasteland, but Mats runs a playset of Wasteland because it's in his DNA.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a deck that doesn't run 4 copies of Wasteland.
So do we prioritize the Stifle here or the Not of This World?
So we don't have to do anything until he reacts.
Right. I mean, once he
what I think
tries
he's going to try and do is Wasteland our blue source and then switch phases. Let us switch phases. So maybe during our upkeep or our draw step, he's probably going to Wasteland the Confluence, which we can just stifle that.
Are we gonna
and then
let this
just
go?
to keep our land around? It's not. I don't think it's going to matter based on the board state, but we would stifle it just to keep our land drop around, and then he'll use the Caracas, and then we Not of This World the Caracas.
Wow, that was quite the counter war, so to speak, or quite the stack. So I think here we probably want the Safekeeper, right?
Yeah, unlike the Tony matchup, there's no sweepers going on in Mats. There's likely to be no sweepers. There's like possibilities of like maybe a ballista or something like that, but I don't even know that he would bring that in. He showed us Thespian stage, so with Glimmer Post and the ability to go over 20 and the ability to make his own 20/20, step isn't always enough to push our Lodge through their Lodge if they go up to like 22 or something like that, so we need Caracas out of the sideboard too. We need to bring the Caracas in.
Are we slowing down or are we keeping all the fast mana up?
We have to slow down a little bit just because we don't have that much we can do. The Duresses aren't particularly useful. A lot of his tutors come down on 1, so like the Provocations are 1, the Expedition maps are 1, so those can come out. We can probably shave a Petal too and go down to 5 Accelerants. That's probably fine.
Do we care about any permanent base hate or no?
We do want the Decays. Again, I'm not totally familiar with his list because obviously it's different, but they usually have Reclaimers and Pithing Needles, so we definitely want the Decays. From here, the usual Green Post lists don't have Graveyard interaction, or if they do, it's like one of Rumen Excavator, so we could probably get away with cutting Bog, and if he shows us like some Graveyard Recursion, we can bring it back in, but I think Bog's fine to cut here at the 60.
And then just run this?
I think this is fine for now. See if we see anything else unusual in game 2.
Yeah, he's usually on, from my experiences playing against him, some kind of green sun deck typically. That's like very good against blue. I think this is a keep.
Yeah, this is okay. We're a little bit soft to Wasteland as is, but It's turn 3 combo with Safekeeper, so hopefully it's okay. Wait, oh,
Oop, sorry. What was I supposed to do?
when we drew the second acceleration, we just had a clean turn 2 combo with the Stage Depths Spirit Guide pedal.
Shoot.
But now, I guess from this spot, we probably just want to run out of Safekeeper.
Okay, that was my mistake.
Okay.
So are we just trying to get underneath with that?
Yeah, the issue is the Reclaimer can chain Wastelands, so not having the turn 2... With the turn 2 combo, we can hope or force them to start popping map instead of activating Reclaimer and give us some time to draw some stuff. Or if they just pass, well, right now they're over 22. So we're almost certainly not winning this game from this spot.
Okay, so
unless we have some good top decks.
Would you go with Stage here, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think we just play the Stage.
Probably we play the pedal or no?
Yeah, we play the pedal. We want to threaten them. But I think he's going to make the same play regardless. I think he's going to Reclaimer into a Wasteland.
So, did the misplay from turn 1 matter here? I don't think it did, right? Given his hand.
So, it depends. If he does what he did here, if this is a Wasteland, it may have mattered. If this is a Caracas, it wouldn't have mattered.
Gotcha.
So it depends on what he actually does here.
They're probably not getting Caracas, I would assume, because the Safekeeper's out.
Yeah, so it did matter. Well, probably mattered. So what would end up happening is we would have been able to hit them to 1 and then hopefully push the last piece of damage through with the little dorks that we have. It's what the plan would have been, because they would have been able to get Caracas, but it would come into play tapped, so we would have hit them.
Right.
And then, yeah.
Do we play the second Safekeeper? No, right?
Yeah, I don't think it actually matters. We probably want to save the counter on the Gemstone Mine. Because we can't, the Safekeepers aren't attacking through the Reclaimer anyway.
We have to pass, right?
Yeah. Okay, it's a start.
Oh, we're playing the Wasteland then?
Yeah. So, I mean, we can start playing the extra stage and start copying our own Wastelands to see if we can... Alright. Yeah, I mean, this was just going to happen anyway with the Reclaimer. It's going to be really hard to grind through a playset of Wastelands.
So are we going to copy it now, I'm assuming?
No, I think we just don't even bother. If we do that now, he's just going to use one of his Wastelands.
So I think that probably helps, right? Or no?
It helps a little, yeah. So we can play out another stage and... Yeah, pass for now.
Yeah.
And this time we can actually try to copy a Wasteland at the end of their turn.
So the reason why we couldn't do it the previous turn was because they can just Wasteland response?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have that option regardless, but we would have had to blow our pedal to do it too, and I don't think that was really
worth
where
it.
we wanted to be. Yeah.
Ooh, I think somebody subbed. Thank you. I heard that sound. And then we pass?
Yeah.
So that's
All
pretty
right.
good.
Starting to get somewhere.
Do we play out the Caracas here?
Yeah, I think so. We kind of need as much mana as possible.
And then there's no use in playing the Hex Mage right now, right?
No, the Hex Mage is basically, well, yeah, the Hex Mage just eats the mine and the pedal at this point for the same effect with the stage, so I don't think that's necessary.
3.
Could be the excavator we were talking about.
Yeah. That card has really impressed me for my brief stint in Modern. I played it briefly in Elves too. The problem with Excavator though in my list is too many decks trying to kill me turn 1. Do we care?
I think we pull it because we kind of have to.
What do you mean we pull it? Stifle it?
We just add the mana with
Oh, pull. Okay.
yeah. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, that was bad. We needed to go for it right there. That's my fault.
Oh, it's all good. Like it happens. Do we just let the mana run
Yeah,
out?
I think we just actually concede from this spot.
Okay.
We could have I don't know that we were gonna win anyway, but we could have comboed there. So in response to that, we should have wasted the second wasteland and initiated that, and we had enough to combo there.
Gotcha.
Make it 2020. We were probably going to get burned by his land drop and Reclaimer anyway. But
So we run it back the same 75, 60.
So one consideration is we could bring in the Collector Roof. They've showed us Mox Diamonds in both games. Plus they obviously have 4 Expedition maps too.
That makes sense. I think if we were to cut something, do we cut the last accelerant or?
Probably actually the last Safekeeper, I would think, is probably the best call.
Yeah, because you don't really want to draw 2. Sure. This seems pretty good to me because of the
this isn't bad.
And then we probably lead with turn 1 Safekeeper.
Yeah, so normally you could do like Urborg, then Depths with Petal and have the combo up a crop rotation, but because we have 2 crop rotations, we can still combo on turn 2, even with the Gemstone Mine in play, and it's kind of sneakier.
Gotcha.
So maybe they'll make a mistake just based on our board.
Right, because this will be because of the Petal, right?
Yep.
So if I'm doing this right, I think we play the Urborg, and we're gonna crop rotate for the Thespian stage. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, this is kind of a busted start.
At least there's no interaction, but I guess they're at 21.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we play the Petal, right?
Yeah.
And then play the Urborg, and then we have double crop up.
Actually, sorry. I think it was actually better to play the Depths there.
Oh, it was okay. That was my mistake.
So the follow-up turn, I don't think it's gonna matter, but the follow-up turn we would be able to cast Thoughtseize.
Makes sense. Sure.
One card in hand now. So our options here are to go for it and use both crop rotations, or to wait a turn to cast the Thoughtseize and then go for it on our main phase to play around the wasteland. The reason to wait would be exactly crop rotation. Um, Next turn, the Safekeeper's not going to offer any protection because if we combo here,
We're out of lands, right?
we lose all of our lands. We untap, we play the depths, but they can wasteland the depths before they have any interaction. So we probably lose to that anyway.
Uh-huh.
So I think we probably just
Go for it.
jam here and accept losing to crop rotation. Yeah.
All right, so the correct sequencing is we're gonna pitch the mine first, right?
Yes, we crop rotate the mine into depths. And then float 2 black. And then we can crop the Urborg into the stage. That was a really good draw.
Yeah. I think we just bashed for 20 here, right?
I would play the depths anyway, since they gave us a window. There's no risk of them, being able to stage it because we could just sack it with Safekeeper at any moment.
Uh-huh.
Now it kind of makes them use their wasteland before they have a trick, and we do have the Nada's World off the top, which is a great draw.
Right.
Do have the crop rotation. Okay.
So we can just not of those world here.
We definitely use the Safekeeper. Because they're going to untap, and the Wasteland basically takes Safekeeper off the table, but now we got an activation out of it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that was a small window we got there.
They may still be okay. It's possible he has Glacial Chasm in the list. I'm not sure what cards he cut to make room for all these Mox Diamonds and Wastelands. If
Sure, a Swords would be pretty good here too if he was on white, but I don't think we saw white at all so far. Right?
Yeah, I don't think there's a Swords, but there could definitely be a Chasm.
So they're thinking about something.
Yeah, the life gain doesn't matter at this point.
Right, because they have to gain like 20 essentially.
Yep, Excavator. Oh, looks like we got it. I wonder what he's talking about with the Dark Depths triggers.
It seemed like it didn't let him respond. Maybe he had so he had the crop rotate.
Oh, I guess he wanted to crop rotate for another Wasteland. Yeah, that would have worked. Yeah.
Man, 2 hard matchups we got there. I'm like I said earlier, I'm riding Tom's coattails here.
Little kid luck. Little kid luck.
So while we wait for this, here is oops, that is not right. Here is the tomfoolery I'm up to potentially now that I'll probably start playing Legacy again. There's the Golgari Rot farm, right, to get double Cradle activations. It's actually pretty good, I think. I played my first league in Legacy in over a month yesterday night, and I misplayed a little bit due to rust, but I was pretty impressed with it. It came up a few times. The other thing that was pretty impressive was what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, this was nice to buy to essentially help hit land drops too, which is nice. Excuse me. Is the game still going on? Oh, I didn't start it. Thanks for the follow, Brew 182. I guess one good thing about not having played Legacy in a while is I know exactly when I stopped, given the timestamp.
Is it exactly a month?
It's been, I think if I remember correctly, it was like 5 weeks out when I got the email from them saying, "Oh, your event's coming up," and 5 weeks I think lines up exactly correctly from that date because I think it was like a few days after that that I essentially stopped playing Cold Turkey. Okay, so they, if I remember correctly, it's been a while, are usually on some kind of combo deck.
I am not familiar with their name.
Okay, so they're on Urian, which means I would think either DNT or Strifle chases list. Um,
Probably.
so I feel like we can't keep this, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's close. So basically, any land, it's a turn two.
Mm-hmm.
So any land, it has the same double crop rotation line we just did.
Do we
Um,
bank on that then, or do you typically don't
so
like to chance that?
so it is a Urion deck, but if it's D&T and they wasteland us, we're going to lose. So it's kind of like a high risk keep.
Uh-huh.
Um, Generally, depends on my mood. If I'm in a gambling mood, I would keep this hand because it's so explosive with
Uh-huh.
the double crop rotation. But if we miss on a land, it's gonna be a quick loss. So
Let's gamble
are you
so
in
Chad can
a
watch the
gambling
entertaining
mood?
match. Yeah,
All right.
let's gamble. All right, they're on green white reclaimer
Is there an
based on
80
that
card
stuff.
version of that?
Huh? There
Is
it
there an
is.
80? Okay. Well, I think we snap Inquisition them off the airborg and see what's up.
Yeah, I saw. I forget who it was, but somebody was playing 80 card version of the deck. Yeah, so there it is. Um, hmm.
So this is something very different.
Do we just take the Thalia?
So
I don't think we care about Dryad.
no, in fact, I think we want to leave the Dryad because we want them to play that on turn two. Or on turn three, rather. So I think we take the
Yeah,
Thalia, yeah.
yeah. I don't think Green Sun we care about it for a while either. And then Knight
No. So
doesn't
I
really
would
hit anything.
definitely play the pedal though, in case they do top deck another Thalia. And also in case they just snap off the wasteland, we can crop rotate to exchange out our Urborg.
Sure, sure, that makes sense. I'm assuming if we exchange out the Orborg, are we getting a stage?
No, I think we actually probably want to get,
Another Orborg?
yeah, or adepts. What is this?
It's probably that Scut Mob or I saw. Okay, it's a Reclaimer. That makes sense actually.
Flamer.
I think we pass here, right? Like, or go to our turn.
Yep, definitely. I think we just play the Confluence.
We have
And
a kill here, right?
so we sort of do. So the issue is they have if you pop out their hand, they have Knight of Autumn.
Right.
So what they can do, well, no, I guess that still doesn't actually get them there because they can't use the Reclaimer if they play the Knight of Autumn. So yeah, I think we do go for it here.
Do we do
So we
it?
know every
We
we
do it
have
in
to do it now,
Wasteland,
otherwise they
right?
tap with Wasteland. Yeah.
Okay, so I
So
think
we
the line is we crop that way, right?
yep crop that into depths and float the mana again.
Right. Okay, so I've seen other people do this, so I'm trying not to screw it up, but I think then we pitch for the stage now, right?
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. Man, this deck's. I guess it's easy when you have Tom, essentially co-piloting with you. But I was like,
Gameplay
maybe
is
I should play
we
this
could,
deck. The kills seem like, especially through bad matchups too.
well, we'll see. They have a lot of outs. I'm sure they have Caracas that they could just draw. I'm sure they have Plows. There's a lot
Yeah,
going on in this list.
I guess that would be one motivation as well, right? Because now you force them to naturally draw the Caracas instead of reclaiming for it.
Yep. So
Okay, so they're going to
this
gain
is
4.
this is forced.
That buys them a turn, I guess.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to bash first.
Yep. And then we get the Thought Seize them, which is cute.
Right. Thoughtseize is definitely one of my favorite cards, so. Oops. Alright, they only have one. So it's Caracas or bust for them right here, I think. Swords is an out here.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't think these style lists run Glacial Chasm, but that's possible. Nope. All right, sweet.
Nice. I think we will probably want the keepers, right, for the Caracas?
Probably. They almost certainly have Swords to Plowshares too.
Right.
I think we probably want the Decays again. We saw multiple creatures we probably care about. They definitely have a playset of Reclaimers. They might have Knight of the Reliquaries too, and Zeniths to get all those cards.
They definitely have the full
assume
set of
they-
Reclaimer. Because I saw the some lists being posted, and it looks a lot like the modern version, except it has Wasteland.
Okay. Does the modern version have a lot of graveyard interaction, or can we get away with the?
It's
shooting the
typically
bog?
only Bog.
Okay, so we could probably get away with cutting the bog again. Um,
They run Ramanat for whatever it's worth. As a tutor card.
yeah, I mean,
But
this is just like one of those spots where if they get to 4 mana and can tap out to Green Sun Zenith for Ravenant, we're probably going to lose anyway.
right, that's
So,
fair.
Like we're not if we're using crop rotation to bog their yard for Ravenant, we're likely losing the game. Is
That makes
where I
sense.
fall on it. So
Yeah, I know
probably
about not
shave.
playing around certain things too, like
There's
just
a
for
lot
the
of there's a lot of creatures in this deck, so we could probably shave a Duress.
why not go to 0 is my question.
There are a decent number of cards we care about. So, like, if they tap out on one for a Reclaimer and we duress, we can hit a Swords to Plowshares, we can hit a Green Sun Zenith, we can hit a variety of other cards, I'm assuming. It's not great, but it's probably also a crop rotation deck. So,
Do you want anything else from the side?
I don't think so. Nothing else is really jumping out. They don't have stages, do they?
No, I don't think so. Like the deck is built around so it's ported from modern. The engine is flagstones with reclaimer.
Okay. So, I mean, you could argue we did see Thalia, so maybe we want the Caracas, but I don't know that that's necessary or
They
good enough
play
here.
I think the version I saw was 60 cards. They ran 3 Thalia. I don't think that's worth bringing the Caracas.
They might run that new 4/4 legendary creature too, but
They do run that, so actually that might be a reason to bring it in. Probably shave.
I mean, if you want to go down the other duress, we could go that way.
Yeah. We're playing against decks that aren't too popular for the most part so far in Legacy. So it's kind of nice to think about this through. I think that's a mole, right?
Yeah, a lot of strong cards, but the hand doesn't function, so
I think this
this
is
is
also.
kind of
Go ahead.
this is also in the same boat as the gamble we kept against Mats. This is a turn 2.
It's a
So
turn
we have
two.
we have Spirit Guide, Pedal Stage, any land, which in this case would be the Wasteland, and the crop rotation. So that's the requisite 2 mana to activate stage with the Depths off crop rotation. So I think we can get cheeky and try and hopefully if they tap out in the face of like Wasteland stage Pedal, we could just kill them.
We talked about this deep, right?
I think the step goes, yeah. It's the step or the decay. We're unlikely to cast the decay, but the step in hand's kind of useless too.
Okay, so the
So-
kill if just Oh, I see it. It's because we have two SLRs.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it looks wonky, but this is again, this is the kind of matchup where we really want something fast, and we're just not winning on a 5 likely. So I think we just start with Wasteland, and we probably play out the pedal to play around
Dolly,
Thalia.
right?
If it gets decayed, that would kind of suck, but I think it's better to do it this way. I'm not even sure they'll have decays post board,
I mean,
or if they have black at all.
them bringing in artifact hate, it seems pretty bad to me. We just
Yep.
passed, right?
Yep. We lose to a lot, but I think we're kind of like maxing our our odds to cheese them essentially.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean, one of the nice things I enjoy is at least the games will be quick. Thanks for
Yep.
the follow, Jace Alpha.
Okay, well that's really nice. So now we don't even have to go for it yet. Now we can just pass it back to them. I thought they were going to get a wasteland there, but they did not. So I think we just pass.
Yeah, I don't
here.
know if they're identifying the matchup. Oh, there.
Oh,
Okay,
wait, there it is.
No,
Okay,
no.
never mind. Oh,
So they, so they pitched it off the flag zones. That's what it was.
oh, that screen twitch, we absolutely should have went when that wasteland was tapped. I just
Oh, yeah. I didn't say
yeah,
stop.
I didn't see it, so no, that's unfortunate because I think we're gonna lose because of that.
Okay, I think we have to pass now, right?
Yeah, we can't do anything versus double wasteland.
So I should probably set a stop here in case that comes up.
So yeah, we definitely play the confluence. I think we play the hex mage. Well, this is ugly either way. I think we pass, and we probably kill the reclaimer, as bad as that is. After they tutor.
Yeah, I don't know why that stop wasn't there. Typically it is. That was strange.
Yeah, it was weird.
So the way it's set up right now is currently how I typically set my stops. So I think we kill the reclaimer here, you said?
Yeah, unfortunately.
What does a win from here look like?
Them deciding to randomly tap a wasteland and having no instant speed answers to the combo,
Hmm.
or us drawing just really well from here. So maybe if we draw like Reborn Depths and we can play out a Hex Mage and have multiple ways to combo with the wasteland to force through their wastelands, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. I
And
mean,
having another Reclaimer wasn't part of the so yeah.
so I am. There's a running joke that Max has with me that I must be one of the luckiest players because I have this propensity for drawing runner a lot.
Yeah, this is going to be hard because they're basically
Should we concede?
tutoring their deck every turn. Yeah, I don't think we're getting out of this.
Okay. Run it back.
Yeah, I don't think anything changes.
So we'll be able to play now, I think, which will be a big deal.
Yeah, it definitely helps. So
This
this
is
is
a keep, right?
pretty good. Yeah, so we can curve Needle on Wasteland into
So I think based on
either. I think we Urborg Needle
yeah,
on
yeah.
Wasteland.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
based on my learning experience so far, it seems like it's off the Urborg.
Yeah, and then on turn 2, if they show us a Reclaimer, we have the choice of either decaying the Reclaimer on 2 or playing out Safekeeper
Hmm.
and then comboing on 3.
So the thing is, Reclaimer, even if it tutors, it would tutor Caracas tapped. So I'm not sure if decay is worth it there.
Well, our Safekeeper has to survive, so if they play
That's
it on
true.
1, they do get to, on our third on end step, they get to tutor it out and then untap before we can combo. So
Okay, that makes
Okay,
sense.
well this is fine. So now we can just play the safekeeper.
We're gonna go confluence, right?
Yep.
And then just pass.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
we have a turn 3 kill then, right?
assuming
No
they have
interaction, right?
nothing. Yeah. Blocking out the wasteland's a big deal, though.
Mm-hmm.
Cuts off a lot of what they're trying to do.
Okay.
That's annoying.
They probably hit the.
Interesting.
Do we
So,
let that happen?
we could slow down a turn and stop that if we want to. We have the
Do you
extra
think it's correct
confluence.
to give them another turn though?
Yeah, I think based on this play, that kind of screams that they're either holding a crop rotation or a swords to plowshares, um, which we can't beat. So I like saving the safekeeper.
And we pitched up
Also, if we
confluence, right?
draw, yeah, yeah, we have a lot of draws that will also let us still combo next turn. So
Mm-hmm.
if we draw a hex mage, we can still combo. If we draw a piece of acceleration, we can still combo. So we have some draws. That wasn't one of them, but
You go
so here I think
depths here,
uh,
or
no, I think we play the confluence again.
and then do we tutor with this,
Mm,
or leave mana up for a crop?
so I think since we have the safekeeper to protect, I think we just leave decay up. And
Sure,
if they play something really problematic, like
like a
a
reclaimer.
knight, or a knight of the reliquary, or something where they'd be able to use their plow and a second effect
Mm-hmm.
to work through our safekeeper, we can get rid of that, whatever that is. And this is also a card we want to get rid of. So
I think we
that's
do it
not.
now, right?
So now we, yes. That actually does slow us down a turn, unfortunately.
We're still hitting the library though, right? We don't care. I mean, the Thalia
Yeah,
slows us down, but I think we still hit the library,
we're
right?
definitely hitting the library. Yeah. Hopefully, we draw a spirit guide here or a hex mage.
I mean, Sphere Guy would be real good, right?
Yeah,
It's okay, I guess.
it's decent. So I think we just scrying here, just so we have the extra land drop next turn. That way we get the
Now we're hitting the
stage.
stage here, right?
Yep. And then we'll have one extra mana up next turn after the stage depths are board, which means we can actually pay for Not of This World too on
Mm-hmm.
top of the Safekeeper activations. So that gives us a lot of protection and
That's true.
insulates us a little bit from them trying to kill the Safekeeper too.
Yeah, I'm so not used to playing against Thalia when you're actually unfavored. Because I see Thalia on the other side because they usually board it out against me too, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, most 60 card D&D players actually board Thalia out for steps too.
Oh,
At least
really?
versus
Interesting.
at least versus the black green versions. Like if you look at
That makes sense, actually.
like XJ Cloud's sideboard guide boards it out versus black green depths.
Hmm. Yeah, I would. I have. Let me see. I'll bring it up here. Where I have a D&T. Believe it or not, I am a D&T player as well.
What did they just find there? Oh no, they brought Urion back. Okay, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
so we just play stage here and pass it back.
Do
This
we
is
e-
really good. If they tap out for Urion, we're just going to be able to kill them with Crop Rod into step.
Okay. We don't even bother attacking just in case they have something like script ranger or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean it's possible they could have they could try to swords their own creature. That's definitely something that could happen. So we probably want to if they just show us no respect and hello Microsoft Office.
I know, right?
If they show us no respect and attack here, we might want to consider blocking. So, do you think these style of decks would actually run something like a Council's Judgment?
Uh, yeah, I think they would. I wouldn't bring it in though. I mean, having played DNC myself.
Okay, so going to 7 here is probably fine then.
Okay, so we're just gonna let that through, right? Like I typically would expect not to make any kind of blocks in case they have any kind of sorcery speed removal, just because I feel like it's kind of dangerous.
That's fine. The voice from beyond is Tom. Please, Urion one time.
There's the
Nice.
Urian.
We should be good, unless they have a land drop. That's something a white source.
I think they played a land. No, they haven't. So they probably target the yeah those two.
That's fine though if they're tapped out.
So they can block.
No, we have the
We have the
provocation for
Staziri step.
Staziri
Yeah,
step. Yep.
that makes sense.
So they should be dead here.
Okay, that's fine.
That does not
Ooh.
matter.
And here, what would we pitch normally? Let's assuming it
I don't
matters.
think it matters. I think like the absolute perfect sequencing would be like to thought seize them. Well, I guess they have Thalia, so we can't do both. So yeah, it doesn't matter which land you hit because we have one up for not of this world anyway. If something weird happens,
Where is it? Yep. Nice. Maximum value for the league too right now. 9 games.
getting all the value.
Okay, I'm gonna. I apologize. I need to use the restroom real quick. I'll be back in 1 minute. Is that okay?
No problem. Yeah, help
Thank
yourself.
you.
Yeah, I mean it's a litmus test. If you can't identify every legacy players by the sound of their voice, then you know we're gonna have to send you to training. So how's everyone in the chat doing tonight? I never played World of Warcraft, so may have a similar voice, but that would not be me. Rogue Painter, eh? There's a bunch of painter lists going around. Like I played Sed on Blue Red Painter, and I've played like your stock Red Blood Moon Painter a couple of times recently. For whatever reason, people are seem to be trying those lists out again. I guess people are tired of losing to blue and feel like running a pile of pyroblasts. Yeah, my dogs. I love my dogs. Not sure which picture or which one you're looking at. Rug Painter top 8 at the challenge. No, I must have missed that. Now I'm gonna have to go look. Which challenge, Blackie? The Saturday one or the Sunday one?
All right, I'm back. Tom, you still there?
Yeah. I'm just chit chatting with a few people in the chat.
Nice. Oh, I did mention earlier. Yeah, once upon a time, I was a D&T player. So let's see what I would have done. So as you can see, this list is very old, pre-aberration, because I felt like D&T didn't get any tools for a while. So looks like I brought in the Council's Judgment, and I think the reason was probably Safekeeper, if I remember correctly. And then I brought in Cataclysm, I think, as a haymaker. But this is an outdated list, obviously.
All right, that's an interesting strategy. I don't think I Was this something you worked on with someone, or something you just came up with yourself?
This is something I came up with myself. I think this was roughly so Tomic's in the list. So this was probably around the time Ren and Six was legal. Um,
Okay,
so probably last year or in the summer. So a while back. And as you can see, some of the
interesting.
matchups are outdated too.
Yeah, I can tell you from the depth side, from the turbo depth side anyway, like stock black green, if you're
Hmm.
taking out life gain equipment, they're going to be really happy about that. Like
So you're talking about like batter
one of the
score.
most difficult, like almost like the glimmer post thing we ran into
Uh-huh.
against mats on the post deck. Like
Hmm.
if you're able to get over 20 either by swordsing your own creature or by equipping Jit or hitting with batter skull, it
Hmm.
just becomes so much harder. You get double cracks at your Caracas, you get sorcery speed flicker wisp access. It's just it's one of the nastier things that can happen is life gain from the D&T side. So
Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. It's funny, so that maybe now that gives me incentive. A pet card of mine that I know a while back. I'll start this, but a pet card of mine in Elves a while ago that I liked a lot, but I got a lot of criticism because it's not an elf. I used to play a lot of Knight of Autumn over Rex Sage, only because I didn't think Rex Sage was that great personally, and the argument to rebuy it, for me at least, I don't think it's like if you're able to do that, you probably already won. It's win
okay.
more, if that
So
makes sense.
the extra versatility out of the knight was worth it then, as opposed to the win more aspect of the elf.
Yes, but there is one thing and I would have continued playing it, but there is one issue with Night of Autumn, and you could probably guess what it is. It's
Uh,
the
the white and the casting cost.
exactly right. So that itself mattered more than it not being an elf. The not being an elf part, like, it's kind of irrelevant in my opinion.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Let,
Prodigy child. There are 13 red sources and actually 15 white sources in the 75. So yes, you could run any card from any color, or at least anything with one in the
hey
casting
David, how's it
cost
going,
from
man?
any color, um, very easily. The issue I've run into is there just haven't been any cards that I actually wanted to run in those colors that are better than the bug cards.
So this feels like a mole to me.
Yeah, it's awkward. There's no path to an early combo. It's not really disrupting them.
This feels also like a mole to me.
It's sketchy, yeah. I mean, you could bank on the I'm going to draw well and find it. This isn't
Uh,
great either, but you're already on 5. So I think you probably stop here and then bottom the
Steep, right?
step.
And
Yep.
maybe the
And
pedal? Oh, no, actually, probably the mine.
so yeah, I think it's actually the mine because that gives us a lot of draws to turn to. So we would have any depths gives us a turn to with the pedal.
Do we
Any
lead with
second crop
confluence?
rotation. I think we definitely lead with confluence and try and get them with stifle. Sometimes you're just looking to buy time. This hand doesn't really do anything, so I
Hmm.
think we definitely are looking to buy a little what. Well,
Looks like it's
there's
burn.
if this is just straight burn, this is usually a pretty good matchup. Our hand doesn't do anything yet, and we led with a mana confluence, so we'll see. but but uh but if it's just burn, hopefully we'll be okay. That's not great. I do think we probably play it though. Probably gonna get burned right off the table, but
I feel like we probably play the pedal right now too, then, right?
yeah, they're an Eidolon deck. We want to minimize our exposure to that. If this is actual burn, this could just be like blue red, like speed burn with like dazes and force of wills kind of thing. I'm
I
not really
feel like
sure
it's
yet.
just straight burn, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, there is definitely a blue red deck, like a blue red Delver Burn deck that
With
has
Swiftspear,
Swiss
yeah.
Spear in it, so it's possible. But I had to bet money, I would probably say burn.
Turn one confluence versus burn monk.
Yeah, we bought it. We bottomed the gemstone mine too. Like in the blind, you're not really expecting burn, Eli.
I mean, I think. Well, I guess it could still be blue-red, but
That's brutal.
okay.
This is definitely.
It's interesting that they're targeting that.
Sure. Unless there's another one, there is.
I feel like that's bad. They could be going face, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 2 damage. I think this is the right play by them. We have a lot of draws here to just be able to combo this turn, but if we don't hit, we're probably going to die.
Yeah.
That isn't it.
Lackey knows him out when he sees him. I just love this chat's commentary so far.
That'd be funny if we beat 3 consecutive, like, bad to horrible matchups and lose. This is probably like 90-10, and that might be being conservative, and our deck's just not going to function. I think we probably would have won this game if we kept the first hand, as awkward as that was, because that was like turn 2 scrying. And
they're on prowess.
Yeah,
like it's the ported modded version, I think.
Yeah, I think so. We really need them to miss on lands here.
Yeah, they're probably on that Phoenix, mono red Phoenix deck Ragnarok.
What did they toss?
Light up the stage and a mountain.
All right.
That is kind of scary that they tossed the light up the stage, though.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't think they would do.
Yeah, we're basically just dead. We're at 3.
It's part of Fire Blast.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Well, we still got games 2 and 3. Like,
yeah.
I think. Do we want decays or no?
So it's hard to say. Like, sometimes they're unnecessary, but they could have ensnaring bridge. So we probably want to get 2 decays in. I think we also want fluster storms
for Fire Blast.
Yeah. So I don't think the Not of This Worlds do anything. Even if they have something like a Dead Gone, the Fluster Storms kind of occupy that space while being more versatile.
Makes sense.
The Needles are probably hot garbage. I don't think they're going to be on Wastelands or Caracas. It's possible, but even if they are, we still have Stifles. We still have Tutors for Wastelands.
I don't think they're on Wasteland, but they're
probably not. They could have a copy of Caracas. So if you want to have like an extra needle in, we could cut the Reclaimer, because the Reclaimers are not really gonna. The Reclaimer's never really gonna stick in this matchup. It doesn't go long enough for it to become a 3/4.
I'm not sure.
The only argument for keeping it is it's kind of a magnet for some of their burn.
I think it's better than the needle, though.
Either. That's fine. So we can do it this way.
Yeah. Do we care about any of the other things? Probably not, right?
No. I mean, if they're like on the Phoenix list, it's possible like the Graveyard Hate's good, but we didn't really see it yet. And we still have
Not to mention, they would have to kind of get lucky to race us with that. Because I don't think they have the Entomb package. Oh, sorry, the Buried Alive package. So they would have to naturally have it, and I don't think they would have more than one at a time.
I think this is fine.
Yeah, so I think this is good. It's turn 3, right?
It's discard spell into tutor into turn 3. So they get 3 turns to Goldfish us versus a discard spell. We even technically have a removal spell too if it comes to it. And they're down a card, so I think this is a fine keep.
Yeah, my logic for liking the Reclaimer over the Needle is it fogs or eats a removal spell. Which means
Prodigy Child, good. Sorry. Prodigy Child, the reason to not cut Wasteland is if they do happen to have a Caracas and hit it, we want to have like some kind of critical mass of ways to deal with it, and 2 Stifles isn't enough. Since we cut the Needles, we cut the Not of This World, so turning our 9 tutors into random Caracas answers if they happen to have it is worth keeping it around. I think if we were going to cut a utility land, we probably should have cut the Step. Um, so I don't think we care about the bolts at all. So
I think
the
it's
three cards at the
between
top can all stay. Yeah, it's either
the creature or the looting,
the
right?
consistent, yeah, the consistent sort of damage, source of damage, or the looting. And I think I actually like taking the looting because they're kind of constrained on what they can do. So
Yeah, so inside joke. So Leviathan 102, aka Levi, who helped me with modern as well, uh, is just teasing me right there about Radiant Fountain because that was like one of my cuts from the stock list in for that deck in modern. I think here we would just go scrying, right?
yeah, mind scrying.
Getting
Yeah,
depths.
yeah. The nice part about this is we have the 2020 next turn, but we also have a counter spell for anything they're trying to do. So they'll get some damage in here. Hopefully they missed on their second land,
Mm-hmm.
and that limits what they can do here. And then we can kill them and fluster something all in
Mm-hmm.
the same turn.
Yeah, the being able to use the depths for black mana to cast the Hex Mage while leaving up Gemstone for the Fluster Storm is pretty good.
Yeah. We're going to be able to do a good amount of damage here. They're probably going to 9 us here. But at some point, they're gonna have to play some spells next turn, and we'll probably get the Fire Blast.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Burn's not typically. I mean, granted, this is a different version, but not exactly known for their combo strengths or anti-combo beating combo. I mean,
So how does the secondary ability on the Soul Scar actually work?
um, they get minus one counters.
Okay, so
So
they can technically shrink Lodge next turn. So we'll have to watch out for that. Although now they have to shrink it by 3. And the last card's just Fire Blast. I think we're okay here.
yeah, I think so too. We can even take the fire blast here, but I don't think we need to.
No, we can't. It's a 6-drop. I'll use the tomb. The tomb. No, wait,
Oh,
undo that.
yeah, you're right. That was potentially bad. I just talked about it too the previous turn.
Oh, good. So we can even block and force them to take an action.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to play something.
Sunshine.
Yeah, that would be something else. Don't talk that thing into existence.
So they're probably gonna fire blast at this trinket.
So cast the Inquisition now. That way the storm counts high enough to fluster the Fire Blast if they try and shrink Lodge.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Braid, yeah, I think we just fluster this. And if they Fire Blast Lodge, that's also fine. That'll buy them a turn, but they would have no lands and only 1 power on board.
Yeah, they can't build any kind of threat. I mean, they would have to chain, I guess, faithless looting. Actually, they can't even without any extra cards to pitch.
They wouldn't have any lands, yeah, so they wouldn't really be able to do anything in that spot. I don't think based on what we saw, anything changes. We still haven't seen any graveyard, and with the Soul Scar mages, I think they're just like maximum prowess, try to burn people out as fast as possible is what it looks like to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think Did somebody just follow? I heard the Ragnarok follow. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
So I think we're just looking for a quick hand here. Doesn't seem like interaction's going to be where this game, where these games
Yeah,
are.
we're naturally faster.
It's two decks trying to goldfish, but we have to have a hand that can goldfish fast. We are on the draw.
All right,
And that is not it.
So Eli, I saw you've been doing well with goblins lately. Did anything change in the meta to help? Thanks for the follow, Prodigy Child. Mulligan.
That's exactly what we want. That's a turn 2 with a turn 1 discard spell.
Nice, yeah.
So I believe the City of Brass is a card we're not interested in the burn matchup.
Speaking of the DMT and City of Brass interaction, so back when I played D&T a while back, I know when Confluence got spoiled, Dredge players were happy because they wouldn't have their City of Brass tapped or ported anymore. So let's see what they kept. Sure. Hey Jax, how's it going?
It's the other card in that hand. I couldn't even see what that was.
Oh, it's a Fire Blast and a Mountain. They mulled to 5, I think. Yeah. Do we play the pedal here? Probably, right?
No, I think we just hold it. They're nowhere near the damage they need, so even if we have to take 2 extra off the Eidolon, I think that's fine. They showed us a Braid in game 2.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather just not expose our turn 2 kill.
Sure, that makes sense.
Because Eidolon just doesn't matter here if that's their draw.
It's the... Let me think. I feel like it's the depths, right?
Yep. Depths, okay. Pedal, go.
It's not a kill if we do it the other way, right? If I remember
no, it can't be staged. You have to be able to float 2 black and have the
it has to be exactly these 2, right?
Yep, the stage can't be, or it can be a different land. Like it could be the gemstone and the Urborg if you have 2 crop rotations.
Mm-hmm. Do we
I think go? It's Fire Blast Unknown, right?
Yeah, it's Fire Blast Mountain Unknown.
I think we just wait a turn because if they happen to have dead gone, we just beat it next turn with Flusterstorm. So there's no reason to. They have no capability.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine too. You could just play the stage though.
Okay, I guess I was thinking. Oh, this is colored mana for the Fluster.
The pedal would be the Fluster mana, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to matter in this spot.
So, Jax is actually one of my secret consultants for elves. I don't know if you know that.
Secret.
Huh?
He's a secret consultant for every deck.
So I think we go for it here, right?
Yeah, you can just yeah, I think we lose the mine. I think keeping Urborg's better than keeping the mine. I've never wanted an opponent to have dead gone more in my life. Hey, look, there was no mathematical way they could kill us for waiting a turn, so it makes sense to wait on the 5% chance that they could have something like
that. I mean, I've seen Dead Gone in Delver before, like Grixis Delver. I know this because I have, when Deathrite was legal, I built Grixis Delver and played it a little bit, and I think the list ran like 1.
I've seen it. It has come up. So, and I have seen it in a burn list from time to time. I don't think it's likely that opponent had it, but there's just no reason not to play around it. mean, even if they drew like a Caracas, we had the ability to have the combo plus crop rotation for Wasteland to beat that too. So there was like nothing that could come off the top that would beat us. So
Yeah, we had. I mean, our hand was pretty stacked. So, okay, one thing I know I will do is, even if I don't have any response, if they like Wasteland one of my non basics, I'll float mana anyways, just to feel like I have something up my sleeve. It's
nice.
really funny too when I float something like white off of Caracas.
One more, and we're working on getting you back onto that leaderboard, even with a month hiatus.
I know, right? Everybody's in November. I have this October 19th. I mean, I will say things are easier when you're literally riding the coattails of the goat right here. Tom is
Uh,
you know 31 trophies, and I know Tom
yeah,
doesn't play that much either because he has family and stuff to take care of. I think he only plays like 1 or 2 leagues a night, if I remember correctly.
yeah. I actually started tracking again since I built the new list, and it ends up
Hmm.
being It's like almost exactly 9 matches a night. So I'm closer to the two.
Okay, that
Um,
sounds about right. Like I remember last time I asked, you're about 1 to 2 leagues a night,
yeah,
which
it's trending a little closer to the two recently, just because I've just been enjoying the list so much. So
Mhm.
there'll be nights where I do one, but then I have a lot of time on a weekend or something one day, and I'll just end up playing like three, that sort of thing.
Okay, so I'm assuming that is this Bryant, MTG the Epic Storm.
Where does it say that? Oh, Brian Cook. Yeah, yes,
Good to see you,
that is
Bryant. Glad you
that is
joined in for
Brian.
Tom and me. So I don't remember. This name looks familiar, but I don't remember what they're on. But based on this hand, it seems like a keep, right?
It's a little on the slow side. It's just a turn three, but we're on the
Hmm.
play. We get the intro discard them. Um, we have some flexibility. I think it's fine. It's
Okay.
not great.
I
It's
mean,
not
feel
among
free to correct me. I don't. I
No, no, no,
take.
no, no. It's a fine keep. It's a little on the slower side,
Gotcha.
but I think it's fine.
Yeah. One of my coaches for draft essentially spent every night. He joked with our LGS because he's a store owner. Okay, so they're on Eldrazi.
They are on like D&T Eldrazi because of that basic planes.
Yeah, they might be actually. They might be on the what is it called? The displacer version.
Doesn't that usually run like the pain lands for the duels, not like an actual basic?
It could run one basic only because like in case of any path or ghost quarter effect. So you
Fair
can
enough.
yeah. So it could be the one and they just happen to drew it.
So I
I
think we
think, huh?
good.
I think here we play the stage and tutor right with the scrying.
I don't think we need to. So I think we can just play the stage and pass.
Okay.
Because we have the combo with the Spirit Guide depths next turn, and we don't have anything specific we need to tutor for. And if we put the mine down to one counter, then we're setting it up to die on the
Right. I guess we leave a
activation.
prop rotation too in case they wasteland.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So this is just a little bit better protected.
Hmm.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Plays around their Caracas, which they sometimes have.
So can you pop out their hand real quick?
Sure.
What we saw.
So
So they
this is
played
gone.
the Reshaper, they played the Eye, and they played the Wastes. So I
It's
think we probably want to just go for it now to
to
play
play around
around
the wasteland.
Wasteland. Because we have Plow covered, we have Caracas covered, and they can't have both next turn. They
Hmm.
can only play one land. So, and I can't think of any sorcery speed like sack effect or anything that would punish us for doing this. So I think this is just fine.
Makes sense. Puke Shrazi. So Jax actually was the one that pointed to me out that they they feel the matchup is very unfavorable for them when it's Eldrazi versus Elves. Do we even block here? No, right?
No, we don't want to give them another card.
Yeah.
And 3 damage just does not matter.
And so I got into this conversation because I think at the time they started splashing black and white for Containment Priest and Plague Engineer, and his logic was like, if they're doing that, the elf matchup must be pretty bad.
Sounds about right.
Because the mana is already kind of shaky, even with 1 color splash, let alone 2. I think here, do we want Decays for Chalice or no?
Probably because these style lists, well, they could still be like on a D&T style list, and we just didn't see those cards. So I think the Ks are all around good. Plus, even if it's just straight Eldrazi, they often bring in like Sorceress Spyglass and stuff like that, which is really annoying versus the land combo. So I think the Ks are good. We can wait on the Force of Vigor to see how many of those style cards they have. The other cards we could consider is, since we saw white, we could bring in Safekeepers too.
The whole set or just like 1 or 2?
Let's see what we can cut. I think the Bog is garbage, so the Bog can go right away.
What about the Knot of this World?
None of this Worlds are good because they could have
Karakas or
Plow.
Swords?
They could have Plow. They almost definitely have Karakas, and they could easily have Displacer too. So I think the Knot of this Worlds are fine. So
Okay.
I think the Duresses are probably actively bad. Like, they're probably heavier on the creature count, and on the play, they're going to play their Chalices and things like that. So with us being on the draw, I don't think the Duresses are very good.
Uh-huh.
So
What about the Thought
question
Seizes?
is,
They don't seem great to me either.
we kind of need some ability to mess with their big stuff. Like, we don't want them just playing like a turn 2 Thought Not Seer if we can help it.
So by that logic, should we cut the Inquisitions?
Yeah, the Inquisitions are also soft. We just want some amount of density of those effects, though, so we can kind of see what's going on. So I think maybe I would put one of the Inquisitions back in, and
Okay.
one of the Safekeepers, another Safekeeper,
Okay.
and then we can probably like toy with this a little bit for if there's a game 3 when we actually get a better idea of what they're on, because that basic planes is kind of throwing me off a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay. That's fair enough.
I don't think this matchup's all that favored when they're on the play, Jax. Their Chalice hands can be annoying. Their turn 2 Thought Not Seer and the Smasher hands can be annoying. If they just have like a turn 1 Spyglass, that can be annoying. They have some pretty decent draws, and if they're on the white version like it looks like they are, they could also just easily have
This is a mole,
Plows,
right?
Paths, Displacers. I think it's close. This is a turn 3 with Not of This World protection. So it's
Yeah, I guess we can
turn,
go
it's
two
turn
strokes.
1 Urborg Tutor off the scry, or stage even. It's turn 1 land, pitch the Spirit Guide to tutor for the missing land, and then you just have the natural Urborg stage depths on turn 3 with a Not of This World. So it's possible they could beat that with a Spyglass or with a curve, like just curving Not Seer into Smasher, but it does beat Chalice.
I think we keep it, right?
And it does beat Plow with the Not of This World if they don't Thought Not Seer us, so I think it's fine. It's not great. We could lose with this, but there's a clear path. It doesn't get bombed by Chalice.
So I actually think, Tom, and I've had this conversation with Jax. I think one of the reasons why you consistently beat me is because you know how to evaluate your game plan. And I think a lot of times I can steal matches against depths because they keep a slower hand. Or that's like not any deterministic kill, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's just not what the matchup against Elves is about. I mean, here, since they didn't play the Soul Land, I think we can just Inquisition them and try and strip a Displacer or something like that away.
Yeah, and I think that's why you're the trophy leader, like, to be quite frank, because you know how to approach every matchup and what you can and can't keep.
Yeah, I mean, against you, I mean, we've had a lot of matches where I've mulled to like what, three, maybe
Yeah, you beat me
four.
multiple times on multi three, multi four, and
Yeah,
I'm
so you're
like,
just
man, this is a good hand too. Like that I keep. I think we keep take the
okay.
displacer, right?
Let me see. Displacer's three to activate, right?
Yeah, it is. Maybe take one swords and then have the other world take care of the other.
So the problem is they have multiple white sources and
Mm.
they have multiple soul lands, so they can easily keep up plow plus displacer when we're gonna
Mm.
combo, and they can easily keep up double plow. Um, I think it's probably just better to take their threat because at some point they're gonna have to commit something to the table, and hopefully there's a turn where they only leave one white up, thinking that's good enough.
Right, otherwise they have no pressure.
Yeah. So
Do we go mine scrying here?
uh, no, I think we go stage scrying
Oh, off the spirit?
off one of the spirits, yeah, because that enables us to threaten the kill next turn. Because at the very least, if they're not going to tap down to one white, we get to like virtual port them.
Uh-huh.
So once we have the combo in play, they have to leave at least a white up. And really, in reality, they have to leave two white up or they're going to die. So playing the mine would have put us a turn behind unless we draw a crop rotation.
Makes sense. Yeah, I think what I've noticed is I haven't looked at the clock versus the resource management yet, and because with Elders, it's kind of a little bit different. You just play everything you have a lot of times, especially in these race situations.
So
So
can
we
you,
just play the depths here, right?
yep, yep. Can you pop out their hand again?
Yeah, sorry
Let's
about that.
see.
Here we
No,
go.
that's cool. So does the dunes come into play tapped?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
And I know this because I played it in modern D&T when I was thinking
Okay.
about playing that deck. So if they don't play the dunes, which they should, yeah,
Or if they use it. Doesn't
then
look
we
like
have the
they're going to,
kill.
though. They
Okay, so
used
they
it.
tapped
Okay,
it for
so
no
they're
reason.
dead. Yep, we got them.
Yeah. So that I think is just sloppy on their behalf.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't have used the tomb there. The life loss isn't going to matter.
I mean, they have a swamp too. Like,
I mean, that's
oh, yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. This one. This is the easiest 5-0 I've ever had. And I shouldn't even say me. I say I've ever. I in quotations. Really, it was Tom.
Yeah. Nice.
So, do you want to stick around, or do you have to go? Like, no worries either way.
I mean, I'm not going to go through a whole nother league because I have court tomorrow.
Oh,
And
do you have jury
it's
duty or
it's
something?
almost,
Or
no, for my job.
gotcha.
Part of that is being a part of the litigation of tax cases in court. And
Oh, okay. Are you? I'll show everybody the list that we ran, but actually, we can just do that from the other screen. I think.
it wasn't one. It wasn't 1 hour. It was actually a little over 2 hours. Our early matchups were the significantly harder ones. We played basically a hybrid
Let me bring up the
Jeskai
matchups.
Delver slash Miracles deck in round one versus Tony Scaponi with Plows, Terminus, Wastelands, Teferi. That took a while. And then we played Matzole on 12 posts, like green post, but it wasn't like traditional green post because Mats doesn't run any deck that doesn't have 4 wastelands in it. So he jammed 4 wastelands into post, and that also took a while. And the third round was kind of hard too. The third round was the Francisco green white reclaimer list, which also has a ton of interaction for depths, and that was also a relatively tough one. It was just the last 2 rounds that kind of went a bit into cruise control because Burn is a hyper favorable matchup, and Eldrazi's pretty good too.
So, for anybody who missed it, I guess, why don't you do, if you don't mind, just a quick, I guess, reasoning or deck tech on some of the specific card choices. I know, like, especially the mana base, which is new. I suspect it's just so that you can cast all 3 colors reliably.
Yeah, so well, real quick, Leviathan, it doesn't matter. Like, we're making a 2020 on turn 2 as like a goldfish, so we can just abuse the crap out of the London Mulligan, and just even if we have to go to 5 or 4, just continue to try and find turn 2s, or I think we kept a turn 3 on the play. So basically, we're giving them 3 turns, and we have 8 discard spells and post board 3 fluster storms too. So it's almost impossible for them to kill us in 3 turns, whereas we're almost always killing them in 3 turns. So 1 or 2 damage off of a confluence, if you happen to hit it, is basically just the same thing as fetching twice. The match is not going long enough where that damage is going to accumulate to any meaningful total in that matchup. Like, the biggest issue for them is they just don't have a way to interact with us at all. And this deck will, at the very latest, with no disruption against it at all, it will combo on turn 3 every single time as a goldfish with the London Mulligan.
Yeah, so Levi was just trolling, I think. I think
whatever, they got a thorough answer.
so I appreciate the answer, but I know, like, I'm by no means an expert just because I happen to play some of the same colors as you. But yeah, I think it sounds like the mana base is just to cast 3 colors consistently. Is there a specific reason why you're running the Wasteland instead of the Ghost Quarter?
So Ghost Quarter was kind of mandatory in Turbo Depths because you obviously don't get access to Stifle. So once you basically need 4 of that style effect. So you need to be able to tutor for a land destruction effect to get through opposing land destruction effects, and you need like 4 additional effects on top of that to really make it work consistently. So Turbo Depths was on 4 needles just out of necessity because there's nothing else in black and green that really do that consistently. So when, say, 60 to 70% of the time you're needling Wasteland, say, just pulling number right out of my butt, but it's a decent percentage of the time you're needling Wasteland, especially against like Delver and lands and those like Reclaimer style decks. DNT, well, DNT, you can name a bunch of different stuff because sometimes Vile's right, Caracas is right, Wasteland is right, even sometimes weird stuff like Stoneforge Mystic or Mother of Runes is right. There's a lot of, that's one of the lesser ones, but yeah, Wastelands gets named a lot. So in depths, you can't be playing against, say, DNT or lands, needle Wasteland, and then have no outs to Caracas, or against lands have no outs to Mazavith or Caracas, or all these additional utility lands. So they needed a land destruction effect that worked under needle, that, well, needle could still name Wasteland, but here, because we have the stifles, we can get away with it. And Wasteland is just so much better in so many other scenarios where you like second main phase, take them off the mana to cast, any kind of answer, or you hit their Caracas without giving them a basic, because that's a huge downside of Ghost Quarter is against like lands or DNT.
You ramp them,
if you ghost, well, not just ramp, but even if you wait till the kill turn, if their last land is, say, Caracas, and you Ghost Quarter it, they get a basic plains for DNT, and then they can still have plow up. Or against lands, they get the basic forest, and they can still have crop rotation up. So you can literally be giving them 2 answers, even if they only have 1 mana. So that's a real downside for Ghost Quarter that Wasteland just doesn't have. And then obviously you can just mana screw a lot of decks. Like, I win a bunch of games just because
Hmm.
You just randomly, like, it's almost like Strifo with like the random Assassin's trophies. Sometimes like the legacy mana bases are so weak and people
Hmm.
keep one landers that just the Stifle or the Wasteland just prevent them from playing the game, period. Whereas
No,
the Ghost Quarter, they would be like, Snow would just be like, okay, I'll go get another island. It's like, doesn't matter to me, but yeah.
I see. So yeah, it's more of a value play, given that you can afford to now with the stifle and the stifle and the needle package.
Yep, just way less weaknesses than Ghost Quarter.
Okay, I think from the outside, is there a reason between the duress and inquisition split, or is it just
So
to make
this
yourself?
gets argued about all the time. So for a couple of years, I was the only one running the split with
Mm,
Inquisitions, just because it misses a lot of key cards in Legacy. So like it doesn't hit Force of Will, and in particular in a lot of the combo matches, it misses Sneak Attack, misses Ad Nauseum. Against
mm,
you, it misses Natural Order.
mm.
So there's just enough misses that you really don't want to be running four Inquisitions, but it works in reverse too. So there's so many misses on duress now. Like creatures that have been printed over the last few years are just insane. It's
Mm.
like you can't really be missing on Flicker Wisp and Brazen Borrower and all these other answers. Yeah, Spy Jacks.
Balance
Both
trades.
miss, both miss Spy Jacks. so so, so basically, what it is it's kind of a hedge. So you have like a minimum of 6 cards that are good in all of the matchups, and then like a lot of them didn't come up because we didn't play versus too much combo.
Uh-huh.
But you saw like in the reverse where we're playing against a deck where they're creature centric or heavy, like the Green White Reclaimer list or
Mm.
Eldrazi, we can just board out the duress and still have a critical mass of like 6 discard spells that impact the creature decks. And then in reverse, against the combo, if we really want to, we can trim on Inquisitions. So it kind of gives sideboarding flexibility while still having cards that impact everything.
That makes sense. And I'm assuming. So I mean, this is plagiarism here, but I'm assuming the surgical and the ley line are for the same reason because I've actually uh, for a while I adopted that 2-2 split as well, and I took that straight from Debs. I think I told you this in the previous time we streamed together. That I found that pretty good too as well.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like they have different applications, right?
Hmm.
So obviously, if you're talking about like Hogak and Black Red Reanimator and like Dredge, dedicated graveyard decks, they just all come in and they have their own unique effect. Since Jax is here against Oops all spells, like against the dedicated graveyard decks, they have their own unique effects. But it diverges when like you're on a depth strategy because in certain Swords to Plowshare matchups where like say Miracles where they have 4 plows as most of their primary interaction, but they also have things like Mystic Sanctuary. Surgicaling their plows is big game, and Leyline's not really a card you want against that style of deck.
I
So
guess which style deck? Sorry.
yeah, so you just want them in different spots. So
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Surgical's great against like the combo decks like Doomsday and Omnitel too, where if
Yeah.
you can either hit Show and Tell or Doomsday with a discard spell, or counter the first one with Flusterstorm,
Mm.
and then Surgical Limit just wins the game. And then on Leyline side, you want that against like the new Hull Breacher decks and the Karn Echo Shells, where it shuts off Emery and Echo of Eons, and it's good on the draw against like TES. Whereas Surgical against those 3 decks are just kind of like it's just kind of hot garbage.
No,
So
I definitely agree. And if Brian Cook's still in the chat anywhere, I'm definitely yeah. Surgical doesn't do anything in that matchup where Leyline is pretty effective. And I guess you can see in the chat, Tom. Eli's been adopting the Leyline split too. I know he was on me for a while because I'm a big Leyline person myself, and he's had bad experiences with it. But I think when you especially diversify your hate, then it becomes pretty good because they can't just have like one specific answer for your one specific answer.
exactly. So like it's a nightmare for Black Red Reanimator. Like, are they going to bring in like Wear Tears and Serenity and Reverent Silence and then just get blown out by Surgical and like or vice versa, not bring that stuff in for 2 cards and then the Leyline comes down and they just auto scoop. Like
Mm.
it's just not a good spot. Plus, I think an underrated aspect of it is I don't think people really appreciate the percentages of the London Mull.
Mm.
Like if you actually like Alex Viveris McKinley
Mm.
from Epic Storm site did a article on Mindbreak Trap like maybe a month or two ago,
I
and like the
remember.
math is insane. Like if you mull to 5, you're basically over 50% to have the ley line, and if you're willing to go further, you can get it as high as like 70+%. So if you know, like, say you surgical black red in game 2, and you know they're ignoring the ley line, like, and you're on the draw at some point, like you can just you just have like you're just like 70 to 80% to win the game on the draw in that matchup is just nuts. Like,
That
and
that makes perfect
I've
sense.
gotten, yeah, with that strat, I've gotten like the graveyard percentages for my deck are like all 80+% or 90+%, depending on the shell. So,
That makes perfect sense. It reminds me actually of Eternal Weekend. So I didn't play myself as I forget what I was doing that weekend, but Adam Wallace played and he was consulting me on the graveyard hate and what I thought he should be playing. And then we decided on a 3-1 split for that event because he liked because originally he had 4 ley line and I said what about the one just in case you draw it randomly against Black Red Reanimator and then this is game 3 and then you just happen to have it and they're just gonna get blown out because they're molding to Reverend Silence or whatnot. And lo and behold, I think it was like round 6 or round 7, the exact scenario came up and he tweeted out about it like so it's like pretty awesome when it happens because you draw the one up that's like off, right? And then suddenly they can't play around it.
exactly. So, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been on the split for a while. I think it's great.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I having tried it myself from the elf perspective. I think there's one thing I wanted to ask you. Actually, you mentioned surgical. Something that comes up for me a lot is, before at least, especially with combo decks that we're playing here, buying a turn to mess up a Doomsday pile. How often does that come up for you for this deck personally?
I think I've beaten it like maybe twice with that strategy. It's really hard because it really depends on, I want to use like derogatory terms. It depends on how good they are or how familiar they are with your list. Like it's not hard for them to construct piles where it's almost impossible for the surgical to mess up their pile. It really depends on how many things they're trying to play around. So like if they're worried about specifically trying to beat like a Stifle or a Flusterstorm or that sort of thing, if they're worried about the pace and they want the Oracle to be the last card, like it really depends on what they put in the pile. But it's not hard for them to basically have essentially like a cantrip effect, a few cyclers in the Oracle to the point where like the only way you stall them a turn is if they happen to draw exactly the Oracle first, depending on the pile setup they have. So it really depends on how protected they are and what they're trying to play around. Like, because for this style deck, they do have a lot of stuff to worry about. So they do have the Stifle to worry about. They do have a theoretical needle on a cycler, and one of the bigger ones that they have to kind of like map in their head is playing around the wasteland if they don't have an extra land in their hand. So if they have to put a land in their pile, then your odds suddenly start getting better. If you're shuffling them, they can draw the land and they can draw the Oracle.
Gotcha.
But that's not my preferred strategy is using the 8 pack of discard and the 3 Flusterstorms to stop the first Doomsday and then
No, for sure.
back
For
up
sure.
and shuffle their deck. Yeah. What's going on,
Like,
Nathan?
so for me personally, like I said, I run anywhere from a minimum 4, but anywhere from 4 to 6 or 7. 7 indicates that show and tell is probably pretty good, but anywhere from 4 to 6 discard, and it's more the backup plan. But it does happen where I go like turn 1 therapy or Thoughtseize, name Doomsday, and then surgical immediately, and then suddenly the game's over. I was just curious, but then I know for me, surgical has typically been a time walk. Whether that time walk matters or not is dependent on how fast you have the kill. So yeah, that's why I was curious from the devs perspective.
Yeah. It can matter. It's just, yeah, it's an emergency valve and cross your fingers kind of thing.
Right, exactly. You would have to get lucky. That's not really. I'm not keeping a surgical. I'm not keeping a hand just based on surgical alone, if that makes sense. And I'm assuming it's the same for you.
Exactly.
One thing I noticed here is there any particular reason for the single collector oof?
Yeah, it's just kind of like what you're really looking for in the sideboard is like four cards that can like crossover answer all the artifact style decks.
Hmm.
So the ones
So,
that are really popular right now are Echo Karn is by far the most popular, but then like secondary decks like the Storm decks, especially TES,
mhm.
where the so it's kind of like again like splitting up all the cards. So like the decays are there because you need some amount of like removal for creatures for Dreadhorde Arcanist and Delver
Mhm.
matchups and things like that. That
Mhm.
also crosses over to be able to answer Ensnaring Bridge versus the Karn decks or Wishclaw, that kind of thing. But the oof is kind of just like a bomb that shuts their deck down. So like it really, really pinches the mana on TES. It
Mhm.
really makes the Echo Karn deck almost unplayable. I think that deck has 13 lands or 14 lands that aren't Seat of the Synod.
Uh-huh.
So the deck almost can't function in a lot of games when that card comes down.
Mhm.
But it's not the kind of card that has enough versatility and applications in other matchups
Okay.
to occupy more space. So like when I'm playing TES and Echo Karn, I would love to have 2 to 3 copies of the oof just to
Mhm.
be able to like have one consistently with all the acceleration on turn one
Right.
because that matchup would swing, but the matchup's already pretty decent.
Mhm.
So you don't really need a ton of additional help. And like against the storm, you also have like the fluster storms and that sort of thing. So basically like it just maps out well at one, but you really can't afford to lose anything else to open up enough space for a second.
Okay, I think that like answers very well my question. Like I think so. It sounds like the vibe I'm getting is based on how you've configured the sideboard map. You had essentially one room for a bomb that covers the artifact based decks.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Like it used to be a second force of vigor, but the reason that I can get away with making that an oof and making
Hmm.
it even more of a bomb in that matchup
Hmm.
or those matchups, is because the main problem card that Force of Vigor really answers isn't really present in Legacy right now. It's like Force of Vigor is kind of there to answer Blood Moon,
Gotcha.
but Blood Moon is like not really present in Legacy at all because two of the top three decks it does nothing against. It's like D&T generally doesn't care about the Blood Moon, and the
Hmm.
Snow decks kind of laugh at Blood Moon. So and
It's not
Chalice
particularly
is
good against elves either.
yeah, and Chalice is kind of at an all-time weak point too with all the Yokos floating around. So Moon
Hmm.
Stompy is, in my mind, it's just I mean, it's kind of it's playable in the way that 40 other legacy decks are playable, and that if
Hmm.
people want to play it because they enjoy the strategy, they can. But I
Hmm.
think it's not very well positioned at all, and I don't really run into it very often. So
Hmm.
I can get away with cutting the card that blows them out for a card that's better in the matchups I see more often.
Makes sense. I think that's a great answer. And something I didn't even think about because from my perspective, yeah, I guess Blood Moon's never been an issue from the elf perspective, or even I played D&T in the past too. D&T typically is very favored against those Moon Stompy decks, but that makes sense from your perspective.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
Go ahead.
literal zero, literal zero basics here. So, so yeah, we don't want to be turn one blood mooned.
Makes sense. Before I let you go, anything you want to add or promote? Like, I want to give you the chance to just like whatever you want to promote on the stream.
I don't promote anything. I'm just glad to play Magic with excellent players and always enjoy it. Hanging out with you was a good time.
Okay, I appreciate you coming on. Me, you carrying me, piggybacking me to this 5-0 was real nice to return to Legacy stream tonight, and then
It's perfect.
we should do this again if you're available. I know I'll try to do some of the heavy lifting next time, but I was really glad to have you on tonight.
Maybe we'll try elves again since you need to get back into elves shape.
Sounds good. All right, take care, man, and thanks to everybody for tuning in.